What would you tell musicians who are looking to get into the RSS distribution?
I think most people, like myself, started just using Wavelake. It's really easy. It's just like uploading your stuff onto YouTube or, any other platform like that, right? So yeah, I would say start there. And it's kind of like all in one. You've got a wallet, you can send zaps, you can receive, and it really streamlines it, I think.
Rolls Radio.
Today I'm joined with Alex Nicol, an audio engineer, multi-instrumentalist, and the drummer for the band Strangelove. He's also a passionate value-for-value music advocate. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Rose. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. How did you discover value for value, and when did you realize that this movement could actually change the way musicians share and earn from their work?
I've been in the V4V space now for, I guess, about 8 or 9 months. I just kind of stumbled upon it, really. I was a Bitcoiner for a bunch of years, and I heard, one of the Bitcoin shows that I was listening to talk about Nostr, this decentralized social media, and how there were a lot of people on there that were looking for, more regular content creators, not just, tech enthusiasts and things like that. And I kind of popped in my head. I was like, musicians are content creators, so maybe I can create a profile for my band and kind of start releasing some stuff. I'd heard about Wavelake, so I started with that, and then kind of went from there. And I met some really cool people, and it's been a really cool journey.
Well, we're definitely going to get into your music, into some of the Strangelove stuff, that particular project for you. But you mentioned the magic word, that's Bitcoin. How did you get involved? What was your moment like as far as why are you in that space?
I just I stumbled upon it as the craziness of 2021. I got really into like news and like especially political and financial news. And, everyone was saying how, you're shutting down all these businesses and printing money. Like that's just, a huge recipe for massive inflation when you got more dollars chasing fewer goods and services, right? So I actually started off with like just buying like some precious, like little gold and silver bars and things like that. But then I heard about Bitcoin and how it was supposed to be, kind of a similar thing, but digital, and you can, send it across the world for, just a few cents and all these great things that, we've come to love about Bitcoin now. And so I kind of dipped my toe into it, just kind of, buying a little bit here and there and until, you get comfortable with it. Sometimes, you see it go up and down, and it, even if it's just a couple $100, you're just like, oh man, like what's going on here, right? Like, is this going to go to zero or whatever, right? But then it just seemed like the thing to do after a while of getting more confident with it, hearing more of the value proposition behind it, the absolute cap, the scarcity of it. And so I just kind of went in, just dove right in, and no regrets.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, you've cited all of the value proposition of Bitcoin. It is. And I think I didn't know what I didn't know about the financial system until I started studying Bitcoin. Right. And it was that moment where I'm like, oh, wow, the Federal Reserve, this whole thing is a sham, right? The creature from Jekyll Island it's a big ploy designed to basically siphon our money away from us very slowly.
Right.
And so, well, I guess the next logical question is, were your bandmates Bitcoiners when you started the V4V move, push, or was that something you had to talk with them about? Or were they there first, or how did that work out?
So there's 3 of us in the band. I'm the only one that's into Bitcoin. They know that I'm into it and that I've been into it for a while. I think when I first started getting pretty big into it, they would, kind of poke fun at me. And, like if we were at band practice and, someone had to buy the beers and we were trying to square up or whatever. Someone was like, oh, I don't have any Bitcoin to give Alex, so I don't know if I can pay you. But, just little cracks like that. That's like, all right, boys, all right, have your cheap fun. But, but yeah, when I heard about putting our stuff onto RSS and getting it into V4V music, I kind of told them about it and was like, yeah, I don't know much about this realm right now, but I know that it's, anyone can enter it. there's not really any risk in doing so. You can just kind of put your stuff up there, and if people send you any value, they will. But if not, at the very least, maybe you're just hitting some more ears out in the world that you wouldn't have, had your music going to in the first place, right? So it seemed like a no-lose situation for me and the boys too. And so once I did put it up, I kind of showed them like, hey, we're getting some Satoshis for the EP that we put up, and it was kind of cool to show them how over the first few weeks and whatnot that we were getting some sats flowing in, and some followers kind of picking up on our Nostr profile. So I'd every now and then just kind of update them. And actually recently, I want to say like a week or two ago, we actually surpassed our, up until this point, Facebook was our number one. We had the most followers on Facebook, and we just passed. So it was a cool experience to be able to say that. And
you said Nostr has been eight months for you. You've been on there.
Yeah, I just spun up a profile, and just honestly, at first I was just kind of talking to random people, just even about Bitcoin, because a lot of people on there are talking about Bitcoin. And so I just wanted to kind of get the profile noticed and just started sending some zaps like everywhere that I could, because that seems like the thing to do to get noticed. And after a few weeks, I actually kind of started to meet some people that were other musicians or like builders and app developers in the space, and really started forming some relationships, getting some help, because eventually I wanted to be able to self-host our music and not just use Wavelake. So that was a good, couple month process of me trying to wrap my head around that and build our own feed. But yeah, eventually I was able to do that, and no regrets there. So it's been a lot of learning. Had no idea what a lot of these protocols were, but it's super cool that they're just open for anyone to use, and it's uncensorable essentially, just like Bitcoin, as we know. And it seems like a perfect match, for content creators getting their things out there, not getting censored, and then also having this unstoppable stream of revenue if people choose to support your work.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the goals of this, really the purpose of this show, is to bring that to the attention of musicians that, you're not creating for nothing. There's an audience there, and there's a way that you can be rewarded for your work. But tell you what, let's listen to one of the Strangelove tracks, and then we'll talk a little bit about it, and we'll go from there. This one's called Cats in the Hall.
For sure.
All right, Cats in the Hall by Strangelove. So tell me a little bit about you guys, about the band, about the song, about your setup, your rigs. Start anywhere, I guess.
Yeah, so that song was part of our EP, which was recorded in 2011, actually. We've been together since 2009, I want to say. We were in high school. And we've just been jamming and writing songs ever since. That particular song, Cats in the Hall, was, I want to say, if not the first, probably for sure one of the first songs that all three of us kind of wrote and felt out together in my old basement as a kid. Yeah, we recorded that at a studio that our bass player's older brother actually was working at and running at the time. Since then, we have basically recorded ourselves. So we recorded a self-titled album, 13 songs in our own home studio, starting in, I guess it would have been 2020, 21 maybe. And it took a good, I would say, at least year and a half, close to 2 years of just tracking it. And then another at least 6 months of editing, mixing, and mastering. So it was a process. But yeah, for that first EP, it was just a matter of us kind of coming together, writing some songs that we all thought were really good, and laying them down. And that was the result.
That's awesome. So yeah, that's pretty cool that you guys have been together for that long. Just kind of different. Now, is that the only project that you're a part of, or do you do music with any other groups or any other projects as well?
I briefly was in another band. I've probably been in, I'd say, like 3 serious or at least semi-serious bands over the last decade and a half or whatever it's been. But Strangelove, the 2 other guys in that, so it's myself, Anthony, our guitar player, and then Josh, our bass and vocalist. Sometimes we'll take a hiatus just for personal reasons, whether it's one of us has a kid, or we got to move to a different city and kind of pick up our life and put it on hold for a few months or whatever. But yeah, we're just 3 best friends that have always loved music and have kind of really gelled as far as not just our influences, but just how we play together.
Yeah,
our instincts are really gelled together. Very
nice. Well, it's okay. So what would you tell musicians who are looking to get into the RSS feed distribution? I guess the different aspects, but a complete beginner, what would you tell them how to get their music up and into this space?
I think most people, like myself, started just using Wavelake. And I think the more you get into it, the more people will say, oh, maybe try not to use Wavelake for various reasons. Some people are more into decentralization than others, and self-hosting. But for people that know nothing and just want to get their stuff out there, I think Wavelake is the way to go. It's really easy. It's just like uploading your stuff onto YouTube or any other platform like that, right? So yeah, I would say start there, and it's kind of like all in one. You got a wallet, you can send zaps, you can receive, and it really streamlines it, I think.
And then if you could break down the complete, for the person who's into the complete self-sovereignty, decentralization aspect, what is that? You could just, if you could quickly outline what that might look like for someone.
Yeah. So when I started learning about that, I guess basically there are 2 main things that you would need to learn how to do. One would be have a server or your own website to actually host your MP3 files or your WAV files somewhere for them to live on the web. And then you would need to create an XML file, which is basically what it instructs, where your feed is pointing towards your work, where it's kept, right? So for that, I ended up using something called Music Side Project 2.0, which is basically a feed generator. And you basically type in your information, put the links, the URLs to your songs in there, upload any like pictures, album art, any info, credits. Basically, if you were uploading your album to a distribution program, right? They got all that. And the guy that runs it on Nostr, he helped me out kind of figuring everything about it. And yeah, he's been making tweaks to it to kind of make it easier for people who are just getting into it. And yeah, if there's anything that you don't understand, he's really helpful of kind of pointing you in the right direction.
I'll put all those links up there as far as the music side project concerned. But I think one good transition point here is to talk a little bit about the V4V Facebook group that so are you the admin of that group? Are you the originator of the group, or are you working with others on that as well?
I did create it. So the whole reason that I kind of conceived to even come up with it really was I was listening to a podcast. I think it's called V4V Roundtable. And the hosts of that had some guests on. One was a V4V musician and another was a host of a V4V music show. And they were just kind of, being honest and kind of talking about, what's been working in the space, what needs improvement, what's lacking in the space. And the consensus pretty much was that what was lacking is just more fans, more listeners, right? And the way I thought about it was, V4V music, it's kind of like a niche within a niche.
Yep.
So,
well said.
It's a very small corner of, the decentralized web, right? And so look at me, I was kind of into a point of that. I was into Bitcoin for, years before I even heard about this concept, right? And so I thought, okay, the two main ways that you can get more people into it are either go the route of trying to seek out Bitcoiners, people that are already kind of familiar with at least some aspect of the space, and try to push that to Bitcoiners, people that want to hear music and already have Bitcoin, or go to people on, traditional platforms that are either musicians or into independent music, but just kind of say, hey, you know what, if YouTube and Spotify are so saturated with everything on the planet, it can be hard to really find something that is unique and something that, speaks to you. And I feel like getting this out onto regular platforms would be a way of just harnessing people that are already into music, whether it's the indie scene or just music from around the world that they wouldn't have heard otherwise, and seeing if they like it, right? So I created the group to be about the music first. I didn't want it necessarily to be about, the technology of RSS and Nostr. Obviously that is a part of it, and questions about that will inevitably come up. But just when I started it, I was just like, okay, let's make the music the main product. That's what the focus is. Let's, post links to some of the music that's out there, but use, some of the apps that, us V4V artists and listeners are using, right? So links for Fountain, links for v4vmusic.com. And so, just getting the music out there, but kind of using these apps that we're using, it exposes people to the music and to those apps as well, right? And, if there are people that are genuinely interested in it, they will, start using them, ask questions. And I just figured, that was the best thing to do. So I created the group, and it's up to about 37 people now, I want to say, in just over a month. So that's more than I thought I'd have at this point. But I hope it has some more to grow, where we'll start kind of putting some posts out there, maybe in other groups to other areas of the internet, and see who wants to join. So yeah, I'm excited about it. Yeah,
it's like a bridge. I mean, it really is, because you get into Nostr and it can feel like an echo chamber, right? But it's because it's growing. So there needs to be it needs to be accessible to people who aren't on there, right? And it is that perfect bridge. The bridge for me was because I've always been into music. And when I made the connection that musicians in my life and all the people creating music aren't being valued for the work and the art that they produce. And here is a path for value, the value for value model. And here is how it makes more sense when I talk about it that way, because, I'm a musician. These are my people. And so when I can say hey, here's a way that you can be directly rewarded for your music is what matters, because that's ultimately where we're going, right? It's just, how can we be all valued for the creation of art? And so it's a wonderful thing. So what I'll do is I'll put that link to the V4V Facebook group in the show notes and the other links we mentioned in the episode. But Alex, where's the best place people can go to find you? And then what other closing thoughts do you have?
So, if people with traditional social media want to find us, we're on Facebook, and there our handle is at Strange Love of Music. We're also on YouTube, same handle. And I guess closing thoughts would be, if you're an artist, it's been a great experience kind of diving into this and meeting some other artists and people that are genuinely interested in hearing your music and wanting to help you get it out there to new listeners. And if you're a listener and you enjoy independent music, I would say that this is a great space to get into, because there are literally thousands of artists out there waiting to be discovered, and it's growing every day. That would be my advice. You got nothing to lose. And I think a lot of people will find it a great experience as well.
All right. Well, Alex, it's been great connecting, and we'll definitely stay in touch and continue that V4V Facebook group and trying to grow and post more on there. But let's stay connected and try and grow this thing.
Yeah, thanks so much, Rolls. I really enjoyed the invite and the show. We'll be sharing this on the group, I'm sure. So
absolutely.
That'll be good.
All right. Take it easy, man.